hiccups here, but Adam, can you take it off black screen here for my face so people can see me? Hey, good morning. There we are. I am here.
You're looking great.
Thank you, Corey. How's everybody doing this morning? It's nice and hot for this Fired Up Friday.
We are great, Michael, and thank you very much for being voluntold to help us on the call today.
Yeah, no, it was exciting getting everything ready last night for this. So,
I know you volunteered for. Thank you for that. And for those who don't know Michael, Michael is a second-generation realtor, just like I am. But you look a little younger than me.
Yeah, I know. Surprisingly, I am 30, even though I look 22, I promise. I am 30. I've been in the business for 5 years. I got my license in 2016. And I've been very, very busy these last few years, not just doing my own real estate business, but helping our agents grow with social media, technology, things like that. So I have come down to CB West a few times to help do some presentations and couple other Coldwell Banker franchises and things like that. So I love supporting all Coldwell Bankers out there, regardless of where we're at, not just us here at Associated Brokers. So.
Yeah, so congratulations on, number one, your career so far. And Michael, thank you for all the training you do for some of the fellow Coldwell Banker companies. And I know your dad and Chuck have been working together, I think, for 15 years plus. And we're excited to have Michael today to talk about Google reviews, the importance of Google reviews, how to get more Google reviews, because that will be the review site of the future. And then Michael's going to take us through a couple of his favorite Coldwell Banker tools as well. So with that, thanks for being here, and we'll turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Corey. All right, everybody. So how many of you guys already have an existing Google business page? First of all, did any of you guys that don't have one, did you even know that you could have a Google business page? You know, it's important to make sure that you have one of these, because what happens when I Google your name? Okay. Adam, go ahead and cut to the super source there. Perfect. What happens when I Google your name? When I try to look you up, what do people see? And some of you guys, you have pretty common names out there. You know, you have names that are shared with famous people. Jennifer Murphy out of our company. There's an actress named Jennifer Murphy, so when you Google her name, she has to compete for slots with Jennifer Murphy, the actress. So it's important that you claim your Google business page, so when people are looking for you, you're popping up on that right-hand bar on the screen with your full contact information. You know.
Hey, Michael?
Yeah.
Can we give a quick Zoom tip here? So if that looks real small, what Michael's showing you, go into the top right corner where it says view, change your view to speaker view, so you'll be able to see it in full screen. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Corey. Yeah, so what happens when I Google your name? You know, are you popping up on this right-hand side with your contact info? Because when clients are going to look you up, you know, they need to make sure they're getting you. I mean, some of you may even have names shared with other real estate agents not in Southern California. So, you know, you're competing for spots on Google. Now, a common question when agents come in, they sign up, you know, they go, oh, how can I get to the top of Google? How can I show up there? You know, when it comes to SEO, you'll get these calls from salespeople, you know, oh, we'll do search engine optimization for you. We actually had an agent in here yesterday. It's like, oh, they want to charge me $400 a month. Should I do it? Is it a good deal? You know, when you're on Google, you're not gonna, if you're searching for homes in San Diego, California, you're never gonna outspend a Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Coldwell Banker. You know, you're not gonna outspend them for that top couple of spots. You can, of course, do sponsored ads through Google, but that's a separate discussion. But you wanna make sure that you're showing up when people are searching for you. Like I said, you're not gonna outspend Zillow for that top spot. You're not gonna outspend Realtor.com, but you wanna make sure, like I said, when people are searching for you, they can see you and get all your contact information, have all your things showing there on the screen. Like I said, what happens when you Google your name right now? If you don't have this box right here, that Google business page, you need to make sure as soon as we're off this call, you're gonna create one. And I'm gonna walk you through that here in just a moment. So the other cool thing about it is you even show up in Google Maps. Now, I'm an iPhone user. I've been an iPhone user since before I was in real estate. I still use Google Maps to this day. I like it better than Apple Maps. When you actually create that Google business page, you even show up as a map location. So, and for example, when you search realtor, I just did a little search for the word realtor in our area, Menifee Canyon Lake right here. You can actually see our agents are popping up just when you search the word realtor. Now, your search results may vary because Google does use your browsing history and things like that to tailor its search results. But you will pop up in here if you do a good job creating that page, keeping it updated, and getting reviews. So, why is this important? Well, like I said, it's important that when people are searching you, they see you. They see your information. They know how to get a hold of you. They can see that you're a legitimate business. That's the purpose of getting reviews in Google, legitimizing your business because you are a business owner. And just like McDonald's or Target or any big business out there, you need to make sure your information's in there. You have that sidebar box, that Google business page. But also, what is Chuck's number one pet peeve, right? Chuck's number one pet peeve is when he goes to try to find an agent and give them a call, not being able to find their phone number, right? Whether it's Facebook, Google, Yelp, it doesn't matter. He wants to make sure that when he searches for them, he can find their contact information. On your Google business page, there are two buttons there. One that just says call, and if you're on mobile, it will pick up the phone and dial it through the phone app on your phone. And then it also gives the phone number right there. So it gives your contact information right there so they know that it's you. So it helps fight, like I said, Chuck's number one pet peeve. How can I get a hold of them? I can't find their phone number. You want to make sure you have this so people can reach out to you, can give you a call. So let's talk about making a Google business page. First of all, every single independent contractor is allowed to have their own business listing, right? So we all share, our company, we have 3 offices, 300 agents about. So, we have about 100 agents per office, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Every single person can have a listing on Google Business with that office address. I know sometimes Google will kick it back and give an error and say, oh, there's already people at this location. If you follow these steps, you should have no issues getting it through. Now, you do need to have a Google account to do this. Now, I don't run my business through Gmail, but you can actually use any existing Gmail account for this, or you can create a Google account to do it. So either one works just fine. You don't have to have a Gmail to do it. You can actually create a separate Gmail account under an existing email address, and it will walk you through it when you go to sign in the first time. And to get there, you're just going to go to business.google.com. That's business.google.com. Now, when you get there, it looks something like this. This is what it looked like last night when I signed in. And right up at the top here, there's a button that says Sign In, right in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And you'll sign in, like I said, with a Google account. If you have a Google account, YouTube account, Gmail, any of those will get you into there. Once you get signed in, it will say this on the screen. Find and manage your business, and then it will say search for your business name. If you've never created one before, don't search for your business name, okay? You need to go down to this bottom section that says, can't find my business. And then it says, add your business to Google. So Elizabeth, if you've already created a Google account, can you change the business address with no problem? Yes, you can. You can do that from your dashboard. We'll get to that in a little later on here. So you're going to click this button here, add your business to Google. And then when it's saying add your business name, that's the next screen. What's your business name? What's your business category? Your business name will be something like Michael Wysocki, Realtor at Coldwell Banker Associated Brokers. Peter Mendiola, Manager at Coldwell Banker West. But your name, Realtor, Coldwell Banker. You're not just Coldwell Banker. You want to make sure your name's in front of it, okay? Want to make sure you have that individual identity. Then down below, your category is real estate agents. We actually have had agents flagged before from Google because they call themselves a real estate agency. We are real estate agents with an S at the end. So that is your category there. There was actually a window of time where that category didn't exist, so people called themselves real estate agencies. Then Google slapped them on the wrist later. So we are real estate agents. Next screen after that, it says, do you want to add a location where customers can visit, like an office? You're going to click on yes. and then you're going to put in your office address. So, Gerald, I have noticed that another business has, I guess, claimed the Liberty Station address. When I put in this address, Vuvu Corp shows up. I've checked some other Point Loma agent pages, and it does the same. Yeah, that is the thing. So Google, we're all allowed to have our own page at that address because we're all independent contractors out of that address. What happens is sometimes when you Google search for that address, different things pop up because there's so many proprietors in that location. And the hard part is Google now, they tailor your search results when you're searching for things at a specific address based on your search history. So if I search for 31620 Railroad Canyon Road, where our Canyon Lake office is, on my computer, and I'm here in the Canyon Lake office, but then I go to my home computer, where I live in Temecula, I'm going to get a different search result. Same thing if Peter searched for the address. He's going to get a different search result than us. So it can be hard to figure it out. Like I said, we are all allowed to have that. So when you go to add in the location, you just put in the address, you hit next, like I said, enter in that office address, and then it's going to ask, is this your business? This right here is the most important step out of every single step here. Is this your business? And it will say, like I was just talking about, there's multiple proprietors at the same location. So when I went to make one yesterday, it's like, hey, are you Denise Gentili? Are you Team Duffy? Are you Daniel Sanchez? No, I'm none of those, right? You always want to make sure on this page you click on none of those. Those of you at Associated Brokers, if you need help with this, call me, call Becca. We'll help walk you through it. Please, please, please don't click on somebody else's name because it will throw off everything, and it's really, really tricky to undo. Next screen says, do you serve customers outside of this location? You do serve customers outside of this location. You travel. We're real estate agents. So then you can click on yes, and you can put in the areas that you serve. So, I work Canyon Lake, Menifee, Elsinore, Wildomar, Winchester, Murrieta, Temecula. You could list a whole bunch of cities in there. What contact details do you want? You add in your phone number. You add in your website. You do not need to get a free website from Google Business. I would use an existing website. If you want one for free, there always is, your Zap website through Coldwell Banker. I know a lot of our agents have Elevated Network. I know down at West, you guys have Chime. You can always use your existing website. Don't use the free Google website. And people go, well, but it's free. Okay, Zap is free. First of all, we all have Zap for free. But if you use their free Google website, their website that they give you doesn't have IDX. Now, I don't know if you all know what IDX is, but IDX is the ability to search for real estate listings inside of a website. Search the MLS through your website. If somebody's looking you up as a real estate agent and they're going to your website, what are they going to want to see? They're going to want to look for houses, people. So you really, really, really want to make sure you have your own website. Like I said, you can use Zap. If you have another CRM that provides a website, use that. I'd recommend buying a domain name for that website to make it easier to find because your default Zap domain name is coldwellbanker.com/agent/michael.wysocki@coldwellbanker.com. Not as easy to remember, not as easy to type out as something shorter. If you don't own a domain name, like I said, I'd recommend buying one. I'd always buy a .com domain name, and I like buying through GoDaddy. There are other maybe cheaper alternatives to GoDaddy. I find GoDaddy great to work with personally for what we're trying to do of just having a domain name as a placeholder for an existing website, like I said, through Zap or through your CRM. After you go ahead and put in your contact, like I said, your phone number, your website, it asks to mail you a postcard to verify that you're a legitimate business. Yes, they use snail mail at Google in 2021. I mean, the big technology conglomerate that is Alphabet. They use snail mail still to verify your business is a legitimate business. So what they're going to do is they're going to send you a postcard in the mail. You're going to get that postcard, you're going to rip it open, and there's a 6-digit code, and you're going to follow the steps on that postcard of how to input it to verify your business. Until you do this, your business page does not exist on Google. It's in a pending status until you do. This is time sensitive. So It takes about 5 days for that code to get there. The other thing that we've had happen is some new agents, they get excited, they sign up, especially those who signed up right before COVID. They hit request their card, and then they didn't go and pick it up from the office for 3 months. Those codes do expire, so you do need to make sure you stay on top of it. You get that code and you immediately put it in so it doesn't time out and you don't have to request a new one. So, and let's go to the next screen. You can add your business hours. It starts by saying everything's closed by default. You want to make sure you say you're open. You can put times. You could say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or you could just say open 24 hours because real estate is a 24/7 industry. So, and then you can add in your description. Their description basically a spot to put your bio, but they do have a cap on it. So it's not as short as an Instagram bio where you really only have a couple lines to effectively say anything. You do have 750 characters, but that isn't a lot of space. So, can you list 2 addresses on your business address? No, you can't list 2 addresses, but you can create multiple business pages. So if you have multiple locations, you can create multiple business pages for that. Lauren, go ahead and type your question in the chat or unmute yourself, chime in for questions about the address information.
Sorry, I apologize. I was trying to type it, but realized that I didn't know how to type the question out. So I was able to input a business without an address. Is that something that you would recommend?
I like having the address because it ties you to a physical location, which does help make your business look more legit. Even if you're not going to be going into the office regularly and you're still working remotely because of COVID or life and things like that, I still think it is better to have a physical address tied to it. It just, like I said, I think it makes your business look more legit if you do. So there is a way to go back and add an address later in your dashboard. I haven't had to do it in a while, so I don't have slides for it here, but you can go back and add it later.
Okay.
Like I said, add your business description. You can put in your bio. Like I said, it's capped at 750 characters, so it can't be super, super long. No writing a book here. It's got to be short, sweet, and to the point. And then you get to add photos of your business. So you can upload a picture of yourself. Maybe get some lifestyle real estate shots there. Just if you have a good phone camera, even it's not the worst thing in the world. But or maybe next time you're at a listing, you can get your photographer to snap a quick picture of you standing in front of your new listing, in front of your sign, things like that. But you get to upload pictures of your business. So you can add your picture. You could even put your business card in there. You could get, like I said, a picture of you in front of your for sale signs, open house signs, anything like that. Just add a few pictures in here right away. Corey, what about putting your DRE number? In that business description on that previous slide, that would be the perfect spot to add in your DRE number because in the actual business name, you're limited to the characters you can put in there. So if you put, Corey Shepard, Realtor, Coldwell Banker West, it starts to get really long and it even will cut off on some mobile devices. So I think it's better just to add it into that business description so we make sure you have your DRE number to legitimize you there. And then once you get through those screens, it does, Google offers credits for advertising and stuff all the time. I get an email once a week, claim your $50 free ad credit, claim your $100 free ad credit. If you're gonna be getting into advertising, on Google, so when people are searching for, real estate agents in Menifee, California, where you pop up at the top of the screen, you can claim a credit from them and they will give you some bonus money to get started on that. So once you go ahead and do that, like I said, you're gonna get this pending verification screen. So you'll have to wait for that postcard to come in, and then once that's done, you will be able to have your business show up on Google. So you have your profile. Now what do you do, right? You've created the basics, you got that code, it's come in the mail, you're ready to go. Said, now what? Well, Google isn't a social media platform, but you can actually post to your Google business page. So you're like, what, another site to post to? It's super easy, but it does help keep you fresh on Google. What does Google love in search engine optimization? These companies, like I said, they're calling and saying, oh yeah, we'll do your SEO for $400 a month, We'll make sure you're optimized for everything. What's one of the things they do? They create fresh content. That's what Google likes. So periodically putting content. And that's not just for search engine optimization in general, that's not just on your Google business page. That's on your Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, your website, anything that's tied to you when people Google search for you. If you're creating fresh content on there, it keeps it refreshed. It bumps it up on the Google algorithm. So you can make posts on your Google business page. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment here. Now, what else do you want to do on Google? 3 things: reviews, reviews, and reviews. You want to be collecting those reviews on Google. I know a couple years ago, Zillow reviews were fantastic, and then Zillow did this whole thing where they became their own brokerage, and we had a lot of agents who had issues with their Zillow reviews just straight up disappearing, right? We like reviews on Google right now. That seems to be working for our agents. So Google is a great spot to be getting reviews. So let's start by talking about the posts, right? Posts on another platform than just Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. I mean, it's like we talk about posts across all these platforms. Well, I grabbed Mary Beth's profile here. I did a little R&D so you guys could rip off and duplicate some agents here. Down at the bottom of the screen here, when you have that box on that right-hand side, when you scroll past her contact information, her reviews, her bio, down at the bottom it says, updates from Mary Beth. And it shows, 6 days ago she did this thing, tips on getting pre-approved for a loan. And there's a call to action button right there to call now. If you click on that on a mobile device, it would pick up the phone and call Mary Beth. So it does have call to actions in there. For example, Kayla, this is one of hers. She posted a review from Rate My Agent, and it went up there, and they can click the button, see that latest review, get all her contact information, see her histories of reviews through Rate My Agent. Mary Beth, yikes, I'm killing you. Sorry about that. You had some great posts there. I mean, her stuff right here at the bottom in those Google updates, those Google posts, she has some really consistent stuff across the board. A lot of people aren't utilizing that updates feature in Google, which is their posting. So to create one of these posts in Google, it's very similar once you know where to go to posting on Facebook or LinkedIn or anything like that. So once you're signed into your Google business page, so once you've created your account, you've gotten your verification code, you're just going to go back, business.google.com, sign into your account, sign into your business, and you're going to go right here, right in the middle of the screen, there's a button that says Create Post. That's all you got to do. You hit the Create Post button, and then there's options that says, is it a COVID-19 update? Is it an offer? Is it what's new, event, product? So, I mean, theoretically, you could put an event in there if you're doing an open house, but generally, what's new? What's the latest update by your business? Hey, great new listing, 123 Banana Street, $600,000, Temecula, California, 5-bed, 3-bath with a pool. And then you can add in photos. You could just take the listing photos, put them in there. If you're making flyers for your listings, you could upload those in there, a postcard, anything like that, you can add it in there. And then down at the bottom, you can add in a call to action on that post. So you can click Learn More, so it sends them to a website. Call now, book an appointment. You can add a call to action to it so when people are seeing you and they're seeing that, they can click it and it drives them to one spot. You're not confusing them on the messaging. You're sending them to either call you, click the link, whatever you prefer for that post. So that is posting. If any of you have questions about posting, just go ahead and throw them in the chat, unmute yourself, I will get to them. Reviews. Now, this is for Jennifer Murphy here on the Google reviews. So you can see right here, she has reviews right here, they're popping up, they're 5 stars, great description. And you can even see if you look her up, there's a button right there that says to write a review. And then you can also see up above it, for some people, it actually grabs their reviews from other platforms too. There's no way for you guys to manually add these reviews in on the other platforms, okay? These reviews, basically what you want to do is you want to keep your branding consistent across all your platforms. Facebook, you use the same name on your business page. LinkedIn, Zillow, all these things, you want to make sure you keep your branding consistent. You use the same email address for all of them, the same website. And then what Google does is they actually have what's called spiders. Yes, spiders. They actually crawl the web looking for information and cataloging what's there. That's how, like, when you're searching here on Google, it like grabs a little snapshot of the text on the page. That's the Google spiders, right? So the Google spiders, if your stuff is cross-linked together, so from your Zillow page, you have a link to your Facebook page and your website and things like that. From your Facebook page, you have a link to your website. As long as you cross-link these things across each other and you stay consistent in your branding, we always tell you, use the same picture, use the same name. Don't confuse the messaging here, right? If you do that, it will actually automatically grab a link to your Facebook profile, a Zillow profile, things like that, and it will actually populate the reviews up here and give your average review rating across those sites. But of course, on Google, they want you to review on Google first and foremost, right? But it will populate your reviews from the other sites. So real quick, we got a couple questions. I noticed my posts don't get much traffic, but my photos do. Any way to boost posts, or is that when you have to pay for ads? Jen, you hit the nail on the head. That is paying for ads. You can pay for the create an ad through Google to make things get more traffic. So when you're posting real estate, what should we use most used search words in the ad? Yeah, I definitely would. Make sure you put the city name, keywords. If there's a pool, any buzzwords that go with that house. City, real estate, for sale, anything like that, pool, anything that will catch the eye. So when people are searching for those terms, it will show up there. Now back to the reviews. Like I said, there's a button right there to write a review. Now it used to be, Google didn't used to play nice with their review links. They actually used to make it really hard to just grab a link and be able to text it or email to a client to get a review. They've made it much easier. So once you're actually on your dashboard, once again, business.google.com, and you're signed into your account, you can actually scroll down and you can see that there is a link right there that just says share review form right there on your dashboard. You click that link. I didn't get a pop-up of that. You click that link and it just pops up with a link you can copy and paste. So you can take that link, you can copy it, you can paste it into an email, text message, whatever, send it out to as many people as you can, right? Build up those Google reviews. Those seem to be what's working right now. Now, sometimes with these reviews across the different sites, it's almost like playing whack-a-mole. It's like, what site is best to get reviews on? It used to be Zillow, now it's this, it's Google. It may switch at some point to be Facebook. It may switch to be LinkedIn. It may switch to be Realtor.com. Especially for the new agents, I know it's hard to get reviews, and I know how it is. People don't like to review across multiple platforms. It's usually somewhat easy to get people to review you on one website, but to get them to review you across 5 is kind of difficult. So do the best you can. I know it's like everybody says don't put all your eggs in one basket, but as a new agent, you newbies out there, you kind of have to pick a platform and just go for it, go all in. Somebody like Jennifer Murphy, Kayla, somebody who's been around the business for a while, has a big sphere of influence, big pool of past clients. Yeah, you can spread out your reviews across multiple sites. But if you were going to go all in on one right now, today, June 18th, 2021, what is most effective for agents? It seems to be Google. So, Dave, I've had success sending out review requests by text. Your client can click it while waiting in the line in the store and knock out a review. Exactly. Texts always get better responses than emails. An email campaign, if you send it out, you're going to get maybe 10% open rate on a good email campaign. So, 10% of people are going to see it, then how many people are going to follow through and click through on it? Not as many, right? Like Chuck always says, when's the best time to ask for the review from a client? Before they move into the house, right? When you're in the middle of the transaction, about 3 to 5 days before closing, because there's always that last minute stress with moving in, something goes wrong, then they want to blame you, and that thought is fresh in your mind, right? Get it early. That way, if something goes wrong, they don't come back after you later and it doesn't sour your review score. The other solution to a bad review too is get more reviews. Everybody at some point will get a negative review. The problem is if it's your first review is a 3 or 2 or 1 star review, it makes you look really bad, right? It's like, oh no, that's terrible. But if you have 85 reviews and one of them is 3 stars, okay, people ignore that, think about it. When you go shopping on Amazon, let's say, you see something that's got 4.9 out of 5 stars. Wow, this product's great. Do you ever go and read the negative reviews? It is kind of fun sometimes, right? You go and you read it and you clearly see it's like, this person is just like, they're having a bad day. You don't know what's going through their mind, or like they just got a one-off defective product, and but you see the thousands of 5-star reviews showing that it's good product, and you go, okay, what's one bad review at that point? But if you went to shop for something on Amazon and there were 3 reviews and one of them was 1 star, you'd go, ooh, maybe I'm not going to buy that. Same thing. You want to make sure those initial reviews you get are 5 stars. So when you send out that text, when you send out that email, even make sure you say in that text, in that email, hey Chuck, it was great working with you. I'm so happy we were able to get you into that wonderful waterfront home in Canyon Lake. I'd really appreciate if you took a minute to leave me a 5-star review on Google. Here's the link, right? Because there are people out there that think, 4 out of 5 is still passing. You still did a good job, but they're holding out on that 5th star for some reason. And that initial review being 4 stars is not good for you. So, like I said, solutions always get more reviews, but you want to make sure those first few reviews you're getting, that they are 5 stars. Any questions on this stuff? Creating the Google business page compared to a Facebook page, Instagram page, Zillow profile, things like that. I think Google's actually one of the easiest things that you can make right away, especially for your new agents who are just getting started. You can make it right away, get it up and running without having to do much. You need to just follow the prompts on the screen and it's done. Then you just have to wait for that code in the mail. And compared to Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, there's less maintenance and upkeep to do. You just need to periodically go on there, put in updates. So, Sergio, are the reviews confirmed as to actual clients, buyers, sellers? No, that is the thing about Google. They are not confirmed reviews, right? They are just somebody who has a Google account. So you want to make sure that like I said, you're getting lots of 5-star reviews. So that way, if we've all had clients that we've made upset. You want to make sure that's not the first review that shows up on there. And if it's a one-off one out of, like I said, 80 reviews, people are gonna be like, okay, there's enough good reviews. This person's fine. Just more reviews, quantity. But those reviews you want, 5-star quality. JD, so yeah, review link. So on your dashboard, so that's business.google.com. You're signed into your account. On your dashboard here, on this home screen, there's a button on there that just says share review form. Okay, so you can just grab that. It will give you a link that you can copy and paste. It even has a share to Facebook button now, which like 2-3 years ago, they didn't have that. Google wanted to hog all the attention for themselves. So you can click on that share review form and it will do it. The other alternative is, if you're having trouble finding it, anytime if somebody searches for you and you have your Google business page, they discover it, they stumble into it, they can always just, from there, click the write a review button right above your reviews box. So they can get to it, they can stumble into the review form themselves. So a lot of people don't realize that. They can go straight to your page and write it themselves. So, but are people going to want to are your clients going to want to take the effort, look up your name, scroll down to the box, click write a review? No. Text them the link, email them the link, post it on your social media, get that link out there so they can click it, put it right in their hands so it's as easy to do as possible. Right. Any other questions before we move on here?
Hey, Michael, can I jump in and just tell a story on Google reviews? So when I was coaching for Tom Ferry a little while ago, I had a client in Australia where they do mainly buyer representation, which is really hard because the buyers pay all the commissions. And they were trying to build Google reviews because they didn't have any Google reviews, but they had a large past client sphere of influence. So they put together a contest and they gave away like a $2,500 cruise. So it was good price, but you don't have to do that. We've done it with things as simple as a robot vacuum that you're going to give away. They sent out cards, texts, emails to all their past clients over a period of 30 days. They asked for 5-star reviews. Their goal was to get 100 reviews. They actually ended up with 106 reviews on Google. So if you're sitting here today thinking, gosh, I sent everybody to Zillow or somewhere else, I didn't do this, not a problem. Create a contest, get the people to post reviews. Once you do that, and you can send them to Google, because Google is considered the authority in search engine, right? Largest search engine in the world.
Most visited website in the world, period.
Yeah, so people really latch onto those reviews. And I know for these, it was a husband and wife team in Australia, that once they did that and people would say, well, why should I hire you? Why should we pay you a brokerage fee? They would say, well, look at our reviews on Google. And they closed buyer after buyer willing to pay them to represent them because they had so many 5-star reviews on Google. So, it doesn't matter if it's 10 or if it's 100, just create a contest, go do it, get your reviews up there. This will be the most important review site in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. And like you said, contest, that's a fancy way of saying, almost saying bribing people for reviews. And just remember for, when you're offering out any kind of deal like that for, RESPA, your legal thing, if you're going to offer out a deal like that, make sure you make it available to anybody who asks. You can't just be like, well, no, I didn't email you about that contest, so you can't participate. You have to make it available to all consumers as long as they ask about it. So there's your legal coverage too. So, all right, well, we added some extra content in here because I knew the Google thing would be pretty fast. Like I said, it's one of the easier profiles that you can be creating in your business. So I figured I'd touch on a couple of the Coldwell Banker tools that are in my wheelhouse of training. One of them is one that you guys at Coldwell Banker West that came over from Ascent a year and 8 months ago, whatever it is now, Moxie Present. And Moxie Present is an absolutely fantastic tool. And if you're not using Moxie, you should be using it. When that client calls you, says, hey, it's Friday, it's 9:30 in the morning almost. Hey, can you come by this afternoon at 4? I'm thinking of putting up my house for sale. What are you doing for your listing presentation? First of all, if you don't have one, that's the wrong answer. You should be giving a listing presentation to every single person. Even if it's your parents selling their house, you should always be giving them the same service regardless of how you know them. And so having that fine-tuned listing presentation is important. It's so important. And Moxie Present is so easy to use for those of you who aren't using it. And it's not just listing presentations. They even have buyer presentations in there. You can make custom presentations. Like I said, I know the Coldwell Banker West people that came over, especially those of you who came over from Ascent, absolutely love Moxie Present. At Associated Brokers, we got access to it on Election Day 2020. It's an easy day to remember. So we've had access to it for about 6 months now. The agents who are using it in our company that have dialed in their presentations, they told me they're making their presentations 15 minutes or less to be able to make their listing presentation, be ready to go out the door. So that last minute listing call, they can get there in a hurry. They don't have to sweat it. Their presentation's ready to go. I was so excited when we got access to Moxie Present 2. For those of you who don't know how excited I was, I had actually come down to Coldwell Banker West December 2019, and I was presenting on CBX, which, for those of you who don't know CBX, that's the Coldwell Banker tool where it says, for that listing, these are the cities that the likely buyers are coming from. These are the best matches for where the buyers are coming from, using big data, using online data sources to say, hey, based on this information, we know where the buyers are coming from, which is such a powerful tool to use in the listing. But at that time, CBX was not a fully fleshed out listing presentation program. So I was down at West. I didn't know Moxie existed as a tool. This is December 2019. I'm in a room with about 50, 60 people, and every single person when I'm going through it, how do I integrate this into Moxie? How do I integrate this into Moxie? How do I integrate this into Moxie? And I'm like, I don't know what Moxie is, but I need it because everybody here loves Moxie. And so we found out about a month later, Coldwell Banker was going to be integrating Moxie into its platform of products that are available, and it was going to have CBX built into it. So you get the best of both worlds. You get that full, complete listing presentation, CMA, all that built in with that CBX buyer data, buyer locator data. So I was so excited for it, and we rolled it out. Like I said, if you're a new agent, or you've been an agent a while, but you've had a lot of buyers, you aren't that experienced in listings, it makes it so easy to do. You can compete with literally any agent out there with Moxie. It doesn't matter if they're 30 years in the business with thousands of homes sold. You could have just gotten your license yesterday, show up with a Moxie presentation, and I think you'd be able to impress them and be able to win the listing. So we have a couple questions. Oh, Corey, yep, Moxie is no cost. Yep, it is way better than Cloud CMA. I love the fact that it live updates with the data from the MLS. It's fully interactive, touch interactive. It's also completely mobile formatted. You're able to send your clients, you're able to email them the links, be able to, they can access it straight from their phone, but you can also print it. You can print it on, high-end photo, glossy paper, whatever you want to use, print it, bind it, give them a nice professional packet to drop off. Deltrina, I'd love to see how agents are actually using Moxie. It looks great, but I've had trouble with it. I know Chuck's on the call here. He's not in the room with me. Maybe we can get a panel one day where we get some of the top Moxie users across, from West, from us here, Town and Country, Coastal Alliance. Maybe we can get one from each and talk to them about how they're using it. I think that's a good idea for the future. Corey, like you said, you can use a custom presentation. Brenda, whenever possible, email them the presentation, exactly. And be careful printing. If you use the default settings on there, it will become like a 150-page presentation, which is pretty long. So, Catherine says they're doing a Moxie Present overview on their marketing training on Tuesday the 22nd. But for those of you from Associated Brokers, we are doing a Moxie training class on Wednesday, June 30th at 12 noon. Zoom ID 832-441-6208, and I will be teaching it on that date. So if those of you at West who cannot make the ones on your one on Tuesday, you can also come to mine. It's open to everybody, regardless of which company you're at. So that is it on Moxie. I didn't want to dive into Moxie as deep as I wanted to dive into Prospect Square here, because I know a lot of people are familiar with Moxie. A lot of people in our company says, I just want more training on it because I'm just not as familiar with it. So the one tool I really wanted to touch on today outside of the Google business page, Google reviews, was Prospect Square. Now, just chime in chat, raise your hands, things like that. How many of you have ever even opened Prospect Square? Because I want to give you a high five if you have. Not a lot of people are familiar with this tool. I know at Associated Brokers, we rolled out a lot of tools in late 2020. We rolled out Moxie, we rolled out Prospect Square, we rolled out SkySlope. So a lot of people aren't aware of Prospect Square and what it is. But I think it is a fantastic tool to automate your email marketing campaigns. So what is Prospect Square? It's an automatic email marketing program. The other cool thing is, we get agents all the time. I don't know what to post on social media. Here's the thing. Everything you create in Prospect Square does have the ability to share to social media. So, there's content right there for you. So even if you don't want to embrace the email marketing part of it, you do have the social media sharing. Now, what can you create in there? Market reports. I'll show you a highlight of the market reports in a second. Property email blasts. Sending out a single property, whether it's a new listing you have, an open house you're doing this weekend, or things like that. You can create an email blast, which can be shared on social media in there. And they did have the ability to do drip campaigns. So kind of like a CRM. I mean, Prospect Square is almost a baby CRM in that regard. But I think it is the most underutilized tool because I don't hear people talking about it. And the other reason I know it's underutilized is when you Google search on Google Images for Coldwell Banker Prospect Square, my face is the 6th image that comes up on, or 7th image that comes up on Google. So, it's not getting pushed because, like I said, my training is what's showing up. I love it. I think it shows a great job of our marketing and social media and our impact, that I'm showing up even over some corporate trainings. I think it's super underutilized. So now, for those of you who want to learn more about Prospect Square, another ad, sorry to pitch another ad for another class. I'm actually going to do 2 Prospect Square training classes in July. Wednesday the 14th, Wednesday the 28th, both at 12 noon. Open on Zoom, everybody, regardless of what company you're at. Same Zoom ID, 832-441-6208. And we will go into depth there. Lisa's asking, okay, how does it differ from Chime? Prospect Square, I would not replace an existing CRM you have with Prospect Square. It is not a fully comprehensive CRM. I call it a CRM light. Like it's very similar to a CRM. It has a lot of aspects in common. It's not going to be as effective as Chime or other full CRM programs that you're paying for, but it has CRM-like qualities. And you can take your existing contact list from your existing CRM and import it into Prospect Square. So it's not like you're needing to maintain 2 different CRMs and 2 different programs and 2 different contact lists. You can just have it all in your existing CRM that you know, love, that you're familiar with, and then you can upload it into Prospect Square and still have access to it and to be able to email everything out. So, but it is, like I said, very, very, very similar. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So there, when I was talking about the market reports, so you can send out reports with market data. I'm an engineer brain. I'm full engineer brain. If you go to Tom Ferry, artist versus operator, I'm operator brain, 100%. Like total nerd, engineer, stats, numbers. Those are my favorite things. Okay. So I love these things. I know not everybody's a big numbers person in your client list. I get it. So there are 3 kinds of reports that can go out. There's what's called a quarterly report, which says this is what's going on in the market for the whole county that it's in. So San Diego County, Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange, LA. And it goes out on the 15th day at the start of each quarter. So we're coming up on the start of a new quarter, so one will go out on July 15th. The next tier up is called the area report. The area report is a city-wide report. So, for Temecula, for Murrieta, for Chula Vista, for Long Beach, and you can pick the city, and it goes out automatically on the 8th day of each month. Like I said, the best part is these are automatically generated. You're not having to go into the MLS, look at the past sales, average out the prices, make the graphs. You don't have to put in any criteria. It does the work for you. But if let's say you work a specific neighborhood. I work a lot in the Four Seasons Murrieta community. I can actually set one up in a custom style MLS search, and it goes out at the interval I choose. And this is called the market report. So if you don't like the quarterly or area report, you want something a little more fine-tuned, you could even be, I want, 5-bedroom pool homes in Temecula, it will run that MLS style search in what's called the market report. This is what the area report looks like. It has a nice little cover letter. The cool thing is when these get emailed out too, there's also a button in that email for the people to save it, interact with it, contact you, but there's also ability for them to share it with a friend. So they can actually forward that information to a friend, that word of mouth social sharing that we like. They do have the ability to do that, share it on their social media through there. It has a lot of call to actions in there to get people to share it, call you, contact you. So this is, for example, the area report for Temecula for May 2021. You can see year over year, it says the average sales price for single family homes is up 25.89% year to date. And our days on market is down 71% year to date. So obviously May 2020, COVID was in full swing, everything was, still fully locked down. So these numbers are going to be, pretty high in terms of, days on market, things like that. The world was changing a lot back then. So it is interesting to see these numbers. And it gives you stats, graphs. I mean, if you got engineer brain, you like numbers, like me, I love this stuff. I geek out on this stuff. I know Chuck geeks out on this stuff. This is fantastic stuff for your clients to be able to see what's going on in their market. So like I said, lots of graphs. It's actually 8 PDF pages worth of stuff. So, like I said, then the other one that I like is those market reports. So if you want something that's a little more customized down to the neighborhood, that's the market report. The market report, the cool thing is, in the market report, everything is MLS enabled. So it actually has like a full IDX search in there, the ability to actually click on listings and see the pictures of those listings. So you can see like, here's the pending data, here's the sold data, these are the average prices, things like that. But then when you go to the next couple pages, it's got the charts and the graphs still, but all these pendings, all these solds, all of them, if you click on that property, it pops it up and pulls up all the MLS information. The photos, beds, baths, square footage, any of those fields that are in the MLS, it's gonna show up in your report. So it's almost like a newsletter in that regard for a specific community if you wanna use it that way. It's, like I said, fully MLS enabled. It even gives little summaries of each property. And like I said, you can click on them, get all the MLS data. That last thing I wanted to talk about is those property emails. So you can actually create these custom property emails. You can just search for it. You can use an MLS ID. You can actually run an MLS search to pull up the specific property. Doesn't need to be your listing. It pulls it from the MLS. Obviously, if it's Coldwell Banker Associated Brokers listing and you're within Coldwell Banker Associated Brokers, great, no problem. Obviously, if you're reaching out from outside companies, I'd touch base with the agent first, just to make sure they give the okay that you're marketing their property. But you can customize. It pulls all the photos in from the MLS. You can pick from the list of photos, all that. Customize what's in the email. There's like 12 or 15 different templates. There's global luxury templates if you're doing a global luxury listing, and all that. Like I said, last thing is there's a marketing center, so that's for their drip campaigns. So they have pre-made images, emails, pre-written, all that. Like I said, this is one that says, hey, it's a hot market. If you're thinking about selling, let's talk today. So, and that's about it in terms, but let's see if there's questions on Prospect Square here. So yeah, Corey, like Corey said, to get to Prospect Square, you go to CBDesk, mycbdesk.com, log in with your Coldwell Banker corporate account. Sherry, yeah, is that market report done via Cebu tool? Yeah, this is Prospect Square. It's done through Coldwell Banker. It keeps the Coldwell Banker branding across the whole thing. Lisa says, I also use HomeBot. Do you think Chime and HomeBot cover what Prospect Square offers, or do I need to add Prospect Square to the platforms I use? I think Prospect Square is very similar to HomeBot in that regard. I know HomeBot has a couple other features, but you do have to pay money for HomeBot. Prospect Square is free. So, yeah. Joe Rivera, can the market report be customized for specific geographical areas? Yes. So the cool thing about the market report is you can run a full MLS search for it. So you can put in, like I said, beds, baths, square footage. You can draw a map on the MLS. You can say, pool homes. You can, if it's a field in the MLS, basically, you can search by that. So you can do fully custom across multiple cities. Like I said, draw a map. You can put in those criteria yourself. So let's see. And then thank you, Mary Beth. I know you're like my biggest fan from West. I appreciate you. So with that being said, it's 9:25. We can do a couple minutes of Q&A. If not, we'll be done a couple minutes early. So.
Perfect. Michael, thank you so much. So let's unmute and get some questions.
Oh, my information.
Michael, I'm on the thing on my desk, and I'm looking at all the stuff, and I don't see a Prospect Square. So, what do you click into to get to the Prospect Square from CBDesk? Yeah,
so on CBDesk down at the bottom, they don't always show, like everybody's icons are arranged differently. They don't always show everybody's icons in the same order. There's a View All button down at the bottom of the screen. Sometimes you have to View All to see Prospect Square.
There it is when I clicked Show All. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Cover up my own photo here.
All right, good photo. Next question.
Yep. So we got a couple extra minutes to spare here. Any other questions?
Chuck, any comments you want to make?
The one thing I want to say is just when he started out talking about Google, and I know that there are probably the majority of agents, Corey, that don't have their Google profile. So like Michael was saying, when you type in their name, they don't come up. And my fear is just how many agents out there are not getting that listing appointment? How many people are not, being worked with from buyers because when they look them up, it looks like they don't exist. as opposed to pulling somebody else up that's got reviews and pictures and everything you want to know about them. So it just seems like it really starts with Google. And now that Zillow has been stepping on our toes so much, you know, when we're requesting those reviews, like Michael was saying, it really is about trying to get your Google profile to be as powerful as possible. So, and I just want to give some props out to Michael. I thought he did just a fantastic job today. And anybody that is thinking, oh, you're right, I do need to do this Google thing, I do need to get it set up, I do need to get my picture, like, go back and watch this again and follow the steps that he gave you so that you can get this done. That you're not wasting your time. It's not it's not a place where I'm not prospecting, or I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. I don't think there's anything much more important, Corey, than dialing in your Google account. And again, you can go back and watch this. I think Michael laid out all the details. So Michael, great job, buddy.
Yep, like Chuck said, you can go back, watch this on Facebook, on the Chuck Whitehead Show, on Coldwell Banker ABR. We also shared it into Coldwell Banker West, CB Buzz, Coastal Alliance, Inside Scoop, all the private groups too. So you can go back and watch this later. I know I kind of clicked through the slides really quick and was like, you know, follow the steps, all those steps, all the slides, they're going to be in that recording. So.
Michael, one more question.
Yes.
Hello, can you guys hear me? I have that Google account, but I never got that that code you were talking about. So should I worry about it if I can bring myself up?
Yeah, it should. I say, if it doesn't say pending verification, then you're fine. I mean, you may have done it and not even remember doing it. I've had some people that have done that. Sometimes, every now and then, somebody is able to get their stuff verified without getting that code in the mail. I don't know why, but 99% of people have to get that code out in the mail. So if it's working, congratulations. I would not argue with it at that point. So, but if it says pending verification on your account, you do need to get that code. So.
Okay.
I actually just did mine during this entire thing, and it shows that it was verified without needing the verification code.
Yeah, honestly, it's completely random, but the majority of the time they ask for that code. So congratulations, you did not have to wait for the Postal Service to deliver it. So, and see, there's like 3 or 4 comments in here that people said they did it during the presentation. I love it. You guys are some go-getters. So.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Darlene.
I have a question. So I'm in Prospect Square, and under property emails, there's create emails. Is this to make a just listed flyer, or what is this for? I've never been here.
So when we go, this is a property email on the screen here. I don't know if you want.
I'm not looking at the screen.
So yeah,
that might be a problem.
So this is what it looks like once it's done. So if you click on create email, you kind of run your search, you pick the listing you want to do, then you can pick the template, change out the photos, change the description, change out all the elements you want. So like I said, it is designed for an email. I don't think these will print very well as a flyer, if I'm going to be honest. Maybe they will. I haven't tried to print it myself yet. We kind of got surprised a couple weeks ago when they let us do open houses again and everybody started scrambling for flyers. So I have not tried printing these, but I'm sure some of them could print just fine. So,
right.
Like Christy said, for Prospect Square, go in, set yourself up for each report, see what it looks like. That's a good advice regardless of Prospect Square, Moxie, CRMs, Zap, Chime, Elevated Network, whatever system you're using, always add yourself in as a contact and see what the client is experiencing. Because new agents, if you've never done a contract for digital signature, whether it's through Zip Forms, DocuSign, whatever, practice sending stuff to yourself so you know exactly what those clients are experiencing. So when you get the call from the person that they're like, I'm trying to sign this and it's not working, what's going on? You can type in, hey, this is exactly what's happening. Send me a picture, and you're familiar with it. So,
Michael, real quick, on the property emails, can you email someone else's listing? Like if I'm advertising other people's listings,
yes.
Or does it just have to be our own listing?
Yes, if it exists in the MLS, you can email it.
Awesome. Okay.
I think it would behoove you to at least ask the agent before. I know you did for me last week.
I do. I always ask.
I know within Coldwell Banker we share nice, but if you're going outside of the Coldwell Banker sphere, definitely talk to that agent
Right.
first.
No, I
So-
only do our office stuff that I want to try to sell. So,
No.
all right. Thank you.
All right, well, with that, it's 9:30, so I think we're ready to wrap it up here. Corey, any last words?
Michael, I just want to say thank you to you for a great presentation, lots of great comments in chat, and as always, you hit it out of the park. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us this morning. We appreciate it. I think as Chuck said, if they're going to take one thing away to do right now, if you don't have a Google business page, make sure you set it up. If you need help, let us know. At West, you can call Lauren Lopez, and she will be delighted to help you. So get that done so you can get your reviews posted on Google. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Great job, Michael.